Hello everybody, welcome back to Language, Litigation, and Integration Part 186, Endless Incompetence. I think I made a video called Endless Selfishness, and this one is called Endless Incompetence. So as always, my name is Bradley Bowes, being profoundly and extensively tortured. There is nothing I can do, there is nowhere I can go, and there is no one I can call. I will be tortured until the day that I die because my rights are violated and crime is rampant. So, we do in these ones, relevant and random stories, current events, and talking points. So I want to give you a quick update on my lovely extortion attempt to being extorted, and I'm going to roll the clips now.
What's up, everybody? This will definitely be a clip in the language and litigation. I have the board prepped for another episode, but I just want to start off this episode. I'll do a little intro. It might be a little redundant, but I'm typically standing in front of the whiteboard. So I'm finally to the bottom of again, this extortion. Again, totally random thing. I've not heard anything from, again, like I said, I wasn't, literally last video, I forget exactly where I stopped telling this story. But last video, I figured I needed to file a tax return, and then I definitively was not in Colorado in the state of, or in the year 2016. And so So I call the dispensary because I'm thinking they just said I made a lot of money. So initially, again, like I've now talked to the Department of Revenue of Colorado, which your employees are awful human beings. They're just so selfish and incompetent, just bad people. And you can hear that chick on there. She's like, "Can I talk for it? Let me explain something." There's nothing to explain. You sent me a letter saying I owe you this money. I don't owe you that money. How do I prove that to you? What are my options? And then she starts just going on all of these tangents because she can't keep up because I'm an actual financial expert. And then she starts saying, stocks goes up and down every day. It's like, yeah, I've only been running a finance lecture series and watching CNBC in the markets literally all day, every day for the past decade. So yeah, but again, I'm 29, I'm never going to be an adult, even though I've been an adult for, 11 years. But to a 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old, I'm 30, 40, 50, 60, 70-year-old, I'm still young and I'm not competent, when really, they're not competent, and they just blame me for everything. And so Michelle, my mom, when you watch this and saying, "Oh my gosh, remember when you opened my financial mail because it looks serious? But then you said you don't know how to manage your own money and either you don't make as much money as you do, so you're either lying to me or you just don't treat me like an adult." Regardless, this is complete nonsense. So it wasn't even from so I call the dispensary and then I get contact back from Ryan Grigo, and I literally had a W-2 for $16,000. I did show that on the last one, but $16,000 in 2015. Was not even in the state in 2016. So the only reason, and again, I have one stock account on TD Ameritrade, which we've discussed plenty of times in this series. And so they said on the phone, they basically, the chick, you could hear, she was like, "Well, who would even report you?" "Well, the only option is TD Ameritrade because nobody else sees my personal finance account." And then they said I made $89,000, and then you heard her, she's like, Don't think about the number, it's so big. Let's pull up my total year tax form from 2016 on TD Ameritrade. It's right here. Let's bring her on up. And I apologize for the very choppy editing of this video. I've had to re-record a couple times because I thought I chopped out my account information and then I didn't, so I had to start it again. So I'm not sure if I just re-watched the first 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Hopefully I'm not too redundant. But here's my total tax return. And so I call up TD Ameritrade yesterday. It was like right at the end, we was like, okay, we figured out I have to file a tax return. But still, when you're talking with them, it's not really sure. It's like I had to talk to the Department of Revenue 3 or 4 times where they're just being rude. You heard of the chick saying, "File a return." The state return or the federal return or both? Or how do you validate it? Because I have now filed the 2016. But this is the document from my full year from 2016 TD Ameritrade, only stock equity account I've had in my lifetime. So net gain or loss. Well, first I called up TD Ameritrade and I was like, with their customer representative, I was like, "So looking at this document, total, it's showing that I made $10,000. He was like, "Yes." But originally I was like, I don't think so, because it says cost basis, how much you spent on a position, proceeds, how much you got returned for selling that position or closing that position. And so you see 2.538057, and again, I'm trading an account between $25,000 and $40,000. And so I'm not moving around $2.5 million of my own money. It's just, you have 4 times leverage in my account, but I do intraday day trades, so I'm never like exposing that amount of money or risking, again, typically risking $50 for a return of about $200 to $1,000 if I could ever trade in a meaningful way. Again, we've documented this whole series that I've not been able to trade meaningfully. But they said I made $90,000. My cost basis was more than my proceeds. I lost about $1,000. So first of all, I just straight up lost money. Second of all, the TD Ameritrade person was incompetent. He said this was total net profit. But then when I was talking to the tax lady, it was actually interesting. He said, wash, sale, loss, disallowed. Loss, disallow, so many double negatives. What the fuck is this? But they basically said it was like tax harvesting. Never once in my life have I said I'm going to sell positions because it's down and buy it back tomorrow and avoid taxes. I've never had enough money to pay taxes. I've never made enough income past standard deductions ever in my entire life. Besides in Colorado at the dispensary, which I made $16,000, which actually I take that back, it wasn't over deductions at all. And so this is the account that I've got that letter from. No notice in 7 years, no decency, no courtesy, just fuck you, where's our money? And it's just complete incompetence. The not having a forwarding address at my apartment building in Colorado, which is, again, I haven't been there in 7 years, but the account was transferred to me from my parents in 2015, and I didn't start actively doing anything until 2016. And so the only reason that the Colorado address was in this mix at all was because of this first apartment I had in Colorado after getting neglected out of school, because you're not allowed to do scientific research as a paying student. And so flatly to the IRS, or the Colorado Department of Revenue, if you try to levy or take my money out of my bank account without due process, with no evidence, and you hear the chick, she was like, well, who would report you? There's no other person that see this accounts besides me and TD Ameritrade. Second, the lady was like, well, we don't have the end of year numbers. Then how can you send a letter like that? How? Americans just commit fraud. It's a full-blown racket. We can do whatever they want. And so I have truly a net loss of $1,000. To my mother, she was like, oh my gosh, you clearly did something bad because you're a terrible person. Nope, other people are just incompetent. I did not make $90,000. I've never made $90,000 trading stocks. Ever fucking ever. But again, this has been a huge headache. So I filed the taxes, and then I'm not going to pull that up because that's got information everywhere, my social and stuff. So can't pull that up. That was another choppy video edit, so hopefully not being too redundant. But so first incompetence is the just flatly not having to be owed. I don't owe any money. Second of all, the Department of Revenue, so you can hear her, she was like, I talked to her later on the other day and she hung up the phone on me again, but I didn't record that phone call. But I have their voice. I didn't get that chick's name, but if you have their voice and I have where you work, your career's done. It's just done. Because I don't deserve to be treated like trash every day and it's illegal. I am the victim of crime and I get blamed for it. And so how a state Department of Revenue can sit there and say, you owe us this amount of money, and it's demonstrably not true. And then she's going on about you should always file taxes. It's like you don't learn anything in school. You don't learn the most basic shit you need to do to function in this world. You don't. And then when you don't have constitutional rights, don't have access to court, you just get fucked day in and day out, right up the butthole. And so that is my total unedited, untouched tax statement for, and this is the only account. This is the account they're referencing. But on the phone, it took me a while to figure out what money they were alleging. So they're literally sitting there jerking off, oh, you stole from us, gonna get ya, I'm gonna get ya. And I'm over here what are you guys talking about? This is my statement. What are we talking about? And then after that, it's okay. So then they said we've been sending notices to your apartment in Colorado. Fuck you. But then how did they get this? If they've been sending it to the Colorado apartment, since then I've lived in Columbus, Ohio. I've lived in Philadelphia. I lived back in Columbus, Ohio. Then I moved to Dublin, Ohio. Then I moved to Blacklick, Ohio, or New Albany, Ohio. Now I live in Blacklick, Ohio. And so just magically now they have the right address. Over 7 years, they never got one of those other addresses from any other place. What is America, man? It's fat, incompetent people that just fucking steal your shit. And so I filed the tax returns. I've sent them the tax return, again, showing me losing $1,000, and I sent them this whole document. But again, how can you send a letter like that without knowing the end of the year statement? What on earth are you talking about? But this is America, and then they can literally just say they're going to steal your money without due process, right? If you get accused of a crime, you're supposed to be guilty or innocent until proven guilty. Clearly not. When it's the government, they can just fuck you. They literally said they can go in my bank account and take it. This is theft. This is fucking theft. And regardless if they do or don't, they've caused me emotional damages and financial damages for the past month. Again, this stuff happens every 2 weeks. Every 2 days, 2 months, or 2 weeks to 2 months, this stuff happens. Never once in my entire life have I felt safe. Never. Never once in my entire life have I felt financially stable in the past 11 years. All because of crime, and it just keeps piling up. And so, but I sent them the thing. So I said, but they still don't give me confirmation. It's like, you know, if you don't pay us in 28 days, we're just gonna fucking steal your money. And you send them an email. It's like, we'll get to your email in the order we process it. Well, if you don't process it fast enough and you steal my motherfucking money, your careers are done, and 3 generations of your family are out. And the people I've already talked to are done. They're done. They're done. It's, what do you do? How do you live a life in a country that does this stuff? And then I guarantee my mom would be like, oh, you clearly did, so I didn't. This is my statement. I lost $1,000. And again, I've been checking my financial accounts hundreds of times a day for the past 10 years. I would clearly remember if I snuck an extra 90 grand in. Jesus Christ. So that's where it currently stands. Is I've filed, because then there's like file a tax return. But again, it's like, is it the state or the federal one that they're going to check? How does Colorado verify that I have filed a Ohio tax return? I've sent them the direct tax return, but how do they check it with the IRS somewhere? And then so I go into the tax return place, and it's like $300 for goddamn 30 minutes for an old lady to type a couple of numbers into a computer. But I'm staring at a bill for $7 grand. I don't fucking care. I need it to be done professional, done correctly. No, because again, I would never be able to learn how to do anything that society needs you to do to not get arrested or stolen your money from. And again, not being able to file taxes and make my money is the reason I had to buy my house in cash in the first place. I didn't want to. It's not a flex. I couldn't get a fucking mortgage because people can't look at a portfolio with all of the things I've put into this world and say, yeah, it has some value to it. And so my life has been utterly fucking destroyed. And this interaction is just completely fucking false. And so we're gonna be getting to like I said, I'll have an intro to this that is in front of the whiteboard. But these are pretty much the stories for today. Just the updates on this. It just sits over my head, and this has never stopped in 11 years. Every month, man, it's just like, how do I feel safe enough to pay my bills? And I have people actively stealing from me, actively harassing me, actively denigrating me, actively forming a racket and stealing my property, and being disrespected by my family, saying that's not happening. It is. Every person in it, every state-issued license is a validation that is affected by my research for real, legitimately, 100%. But so furthermore, what I'm going to do is. So I sent that a tracking number, signature required. Actually, I don't even remember if I wanted signature required. I don't remember if I don't know if I don't fucking know, man. people never people can't do their jobs, so you can't. First of all, I went into UPS to mail thing, and when you get out of HR Block, they literally print off like the direct thing mailing the address for the IRS. So I go into UPS, and there's some chick that's just fucking retarded. She's got these huge ass nails and like typing, those big acrylic nails, and she's like typing on a keyboard. And she's like, this isn't the right address. And I'm like, ma'am, I literally just got a professional tax service for $300. They printed it and packaged it themselves. All I did was write my name and address and put postage stamps on it and handed it to you. And you said this isn't a valid address from H&R Block, which is what they do all day, every day. I'm pretty sure it's the right address. She's like, no, I need a P.O. box. So I go back to the tax service and it's like, they said it's the wrong address. And they're like, no, this is the right address. Go to somebody who's more competent. Go to the USPS. And then finally, yeah, it's like, that's the right address. So it's just all of these headaches. Every time I have to deal with somebody, it's just general incompetence, Brad's problem, or we're going to fucking steal your money. And then you call the IRS and it's like an automated service and they just deny your documents. Or and then you call the department and they just hang up whenever they fucking want to. I am the victim of the most prolific crime that has ever existed. And then I get denigrated and blamed for it. And so after that, I will, again, because I don't know, I need confirmation from them that they've received both the 1099 or whatever form this shit is, and the tax return that filed in Ohio, proving both not being in Colorado as well as clearly I didn't make $90,000 wherever the fuck I was. Well, I was in Ohio, but I didn't make $90,000. I lost $1,000. It's right there on the fucking screen. And so from here, again, because they said to like March 25th, if we don't have your payment, we're just going to start stealing your money. And so from here, I'm going to write another formal letter, again, reminding them that they are stealing from me. They are committing fraudulent actions of the attempt to levy an unjust debt, which is completely illegal. It is extortion. My rights are violated. I do not have access to court. And now the state, who again, there's plenty of federal agents out there that we can do basically whatever we want. You can walk your ass into the fucking Department of Revenue and say, don't do this dumb shit. And it doesn't fucking matter. It's already, the damage is already done. I'm still over here sitting here like, Am I going to get contacted about my Bitcoins thing because I don't know if the H&R Block filed this shit correctly last year? And I made a whole video about that too. H&R Block had a little intake form thing, which I clearly said, I made this in Bitcoin, I made this for my 10,000 stipend, I made about 10,000 in thing, and I just know what I was fucking looking at, but I was just done with it. And so, but I'm really actually carrying forth, I'm a self-proprietorship, I'm carrying forward a ton of business losses from production time and research time of producing these videos. But I can already just see it now. When I'm talking to these Department of Revenue people, if I say, hey, go watch a YouTube video, you think they're going to be respectful and reasonable with me? They're going to say, you have 55 YouTube subscribers, get fucked, pay us. And I can't pay my bills. When I say I have 5 years of cash on hand, that's, again, keeping every dollar I have right now and living below poverty level, literally. Will somebody help me? No. Will somebody enforce the law? No. Will somebody be a decent person? No. So I'm just documenting this as rigorously as I can. But like I said, I will send them a certified letter where we'll have to sign. I wanted to get that off today, but if not, certainly tomorrow. Where they just have to, I'm going to mail them a physical copy of the 1099 as well as my tax return, along with their original letter, in addition with my letter saying, I am a lawyer, you guys are committing crimes. If you try to levy a debt, you will be prosecuted. And they're being prosecuted for negligence and harassment regardless. Because it is completely false. Here's my cost basis. Here's the amount I made from that. I lost $1,000. And so how this even began, I just don't know. I don't know. Because she literally says, like, we don't see the end of the year numbers, so you just see me move one position that says there's $80,000 of value there, and it's 4 times leverage, and I lose $50 on a stop loss intraday, and now it's an $80,000 profit. Fucking kick dicks, man. Kick fucking dicks right into your butthole. So this is pretty much the only story for today. Nothing new's happened, but this has been my whole day. Is worried about money anyway. And then there's a letter. Now it's just fucking shit hits the fan. Then I have to do all of these things to try to cover my ass when it's just genuine incompetence from other people. Like every bit of everything I've ever done in my life just gets fucked by stupid people. Sweet. Back on to the rest of the episode.
So as you can see, just documented that well, the numbers they're saying are absolutely ridiculous. The sources of their information are absolutely incorrect. And I really don't even know like how this stuff starts. I don't even know. Again, TD Ameritrade is a well-established financial institution. There's no other person that could have seen that account. And I wish I could make money. I'd be happy to pay taxes if I had constitutional rights. It's just so unbelievable how fucked my life has been because people just don't do their jobs. They just don't do what they're obligated to do. So that is really the only story for there, but again, I don't know if I referenced, but again, they said like you could hear all the things when she was talking about in the previous video, the extortion one or I think it was the extortion one, whatever the voice recording was with the lady. I talked to her again, but she hung up on me, and they're so rude. It's just guilty until proven innocent, and it is clearly not my fault. It's like nothing that I've ever done. I'm just the victim of crime. Being a good, mature person that is disciplined and hardworking gets you fucking intimidates and scares pathetic people. They get intimidated by the sound of my voice, and they blame me in any way they can. So I have truly no idea where that came from and how they couldn't get the right address at any point in 7 years, and then 30 days we're gonna steal all your shit. It's just plain extortion. Violating my rights and then telling me I'm gonna steal your money and saying because it's the law. And it was funny because like I went to the bank. Originally I went to Tel Ohio and I was like, can you guys do anything about this? And like say no. They're like, this is the government, man. We can't not be compliant. The government is violating my fucking rights, and I deal with the top of the level of government. So I came to the top of the level of government, and there was 0% chance, a legitimate 0% chance. When I solve all of science at the end of 2016 in Columbus, Ohio, I can have verify the email origins of all of my derivations in 2016. Clearly in Ohio the entire fucking year. But that should be satisfied. I just need confirmation. But who knows, man? Who knows? They can just do whatever the fuck they want. But I go to the bank, and I was like, can you do anything? And then this chick just starts like laughing. But the first teller I get, again, I'm just trying to explain my situation. This is truly just my speaking voice. So imagine every time you have to deal with somebody, they're incompetent, they're selfish, a lot of them are now 10 years younger than you, and then you can just see them like getting all the fucking festering, why does this guy sound so loud? I learned to sing, I apologize for educating myself. I need to access social services, like functions like the bank, and going to the grocery store, and doing this thing and that thing. But every time I have to deal with your incompetent, stupid kids, they fucking blame me, they get offended, they get scared, and it's just, they don't know how to behave, because they're selfish, incompetent people. But the first chick gets all like weird, and again, it's like I get like a manager, not like get a manager, but get like senior banker to talk about like what if there's anything I can do. I show him the letter, I explain to him that it's completely fraudulent, but that it's the government, we have to do this. It's completely fraudulent. Like it actually legitimately is. I would love to pay taxes out of income. Then I could, again, like I said, I could have bought a house, now I have to buy my house in cash, which I didn't want to do. I don't have options. I am the victim of crime. But they go through the options of like, no, you didn't destroy your license. Do you have proof that you changed your driver's license 7 years ago? It's like, I didn't know that shit, man. How the fuck would I know that? But the redoing your driver's license, voting registrations, I don't have constitutional rights. Why would I vote? I am trying to collect my property and leave this country. So, Shane, Dina, Jerry, and all of the other people that I have referenced from the Colorado Department of Revenue, you are enacting a fraudulent measure and you are personally being sued for emotional damages and my time at the full rate that I'm not settling, that I'm going to be earning from the global economy and the global governments. You will face the same level of fines and you will go to prison as well. I need to be able to feel safe, man. That's really the only stories for today. When I called the dispensary, Maria Espinoza didn't remember me. I was so sad. But it was funny because like a lot of the same people, or at least one or two of the same people were still like, Scott was I remember the head grower dude, and Maria was just, the three kind of people I dealt with was Taylor Karouche, Justin Wolf, and Mike Espinoza, her husband. So I was like, I texted all of them, trying to get the information about the W-2. Because like I said, with the Department of Revenue, it took me a while to figure out what account or what the fuck they're talking about. Just said $7,000, it didn't really say, it said Department of Revenue, but it didn't say like stocks and bonds, individual accounts, income or whatever. But it is all, I have truly no idea where the fuck this shit has come from. But again, when these people, once I start solving all of science in 2016, there was no chance every fucking bit of my online presence was scrubbed. Was fucking sorted through by fucking everybody. Censor, sorted. And so, no chance these upper level people that know what the fuck is going on. My old neighbor Adam, why are you still trying to do stuff? My old neighbor Prashant, no, don't. When I joked about becoming a federal agent, he's like, no, don't, keep making your videos. Make this shit go away. Like, there's no chance you don't fucking see that they're sending notices to an apartment I'm not at saying I owe them money. There's no chance you can't see all of my financial records always. And so unless, there's no excuses, I told you guys, direct fucking order as your fucking superior, stop it. Stop all of the crime, but at least stop the crime that fucking harasses me to the point where I can't comfortably eat my fucking dinner. And so, that is truly the scenario of what's going on, and then I get denigrated and disrespected every 2 fucking days. Can't turn on the TV without someone saying it is what it is, clearly aware of my research on any fucking channel, on any broadcast, on any TV show, on anything. But nobody will help me. So like I said, I'll also be sending them a certified letter once I have a signature from them that they've received the tax form as well as the actual account statement, as well as a further legal letter from me. Well, then I should be ironclad. And if they do take my money, again, you're already being sued for harassment, you're already being sued for my time, then it's have a nice day. Just have a very nice day. I love playing sports. My favorite sport is soccer. I love playing soccer with Pablo. Me and Pablo like to score goals when we play soccer. But that is it for the stories today. Actually, no, there is one other story, because, again, I haven't been getting much, since being in an apartment, or in a house as opposed to apartment, not much interaction besides just my direct neighbors. But I did spot a goofy from 600 yards out. So again, there's certain species and individuals that can just hear you if they're close enough. And there's also certainly, again, enough technology where if I'm standing outside speaking, whether it's a drone, whether it's a bug here or a thing there, they're recording. Again, I'm not to anybody watching. I'm not saying I'm thinking people watching me. I've told people to record what I'm doing because I do science and I just speak it out loud all the time. I do email it a bunch now as opposed to just speaking it since I'm not at the apartment. But it's not like, again, zero. But do you think someone's watching you? No, I've told people to record my science. And I don't have a journal to publish it in. But I'm sitting outside, and again, it just sucks, man. I just sit outside and watch cars go by and I just think to myself, that person's going to a job. That person's going to a family. That person has an ability to make a choice to improve their life. I can't do anything besides sit here and drink some beer on the back of my tailgate. But I see this goofy, and I think he's responding to my vocality. And so this dude, I'm not kidding you, this goofy was 800 yards out. Like literally like 600, 700, 800 yards away. And I'm sitting there talking to him, and there's a lot of pretty diverse neighborhood, but there's a lot of like Nepali people around here. So again, I picked up a couple phrases. I like to just. But when I'm doing derivation, I'm literally thinking through the syllability. That's like I'm not trying to reuse the phrases or be super redundant ever. Typically, I'm not. But just again, I always learn from just letters. And so I literally like start talking, and the dude and I turn around and wave, and the dude literally turns around and waves at me, directly at me, and this dude is 700 yards away from me. And so in front of my house, there's this grassy knoll with this like a old barn that it got pretty torn up from the windstorm. Oh, actually, another sub-story to the sub-story is I felt like a fucking dickhead neighbor the other day. So we've had, the whole country's been getting hit with some pretty severe weather. Here in Ohio, we've had some tornado warnings, a lot of wind, not really much snow or anything else this winter, been very mild. But, so, what was I gonna say? Oh, so we had a bunch of, like, tornado warnings or watches the past 3, 4, 5 days. And so the other day I wake up, and again, typically, I'm not kidding you, I go to bed, yesterday I went to bed at 7. I literally went to bed at 7. I slept from like 7 to 11, and from like 11 to 2, I kind of slept. 2 to 5 is really, I have a derivation session from 2 to 5, truly. And then typically from 5 to 8. So I do sleep a lot, but it's like in chunks of like 2 to 4 hours. And so I literally clocked into bed at 7 yesterday. But by bedtime, I can't remember the last time I've seen 10 o'clock on Donna's phone, or on a timer. Unless I haven't already gone to bed. And so, anyway, I get up the other day, but I get up pretty early. I wake up, again, 4:30 to 5:30, pretty naturally, but if I go to bed that early. But if not, pretty much by like 5:30 to 6. And I might roll around, rip another bong pack, and try to fall back asleep, or just... Because typically, if I wake up at 5, take a huge bong rip, I'll have some very interesting dreams. So it's just like a fun experience, honestly, as opposed to like needing more sleep. And so... If I don't do that, I'm pretty much up by 5:30 or 6 o'clock. And so the other day I get out, and I don't know, it's probably about 7 or 8 is the time I got up this day. And there I just out of the corner of my eye, come downstairs, and I just see like cans in my yard. I'm like, why the fuck are there beer cans? And they're Busch Lights and Keystones, which were the ones I had that week. So it's like, they're clearly my beer cans. I was like, oh God, did my trash cans blow over? Sure enough, they did. Because I have just a little inlet, just the way my house is built, just like a little cove in the house that I just put the trash cans outside, the bin outside. And so the wind had blown over my recycling bin, and there was just beer cans fucking all over my yard, all over both of my neighbors' yard, strewn down the street. And I'm just sitting there like, fuck, I am the worst neighbor ever. But I couldn't have done anything. It literally just blew over the cans in the day. Apologized to my neighbor Sherry. She was like, oh, don't worry about it. But I was out there like 7:30 in the morning, 8 in the morning, just cleaning up like 30 beer cans that just blown over and thrown all over everyone's yard. And I was just like, probably wasn't the best neighbor on that one. But truly genuine, what the fuck can you do on that? Like I said, when I had my trash cans in the garage, I had like a fly infestation from that. So I was like, not going to do that. So, that was the sub-story. Back to spotting the Goofy at 700 yards. Literally say, hey, turn around and wave. He literally turns around and waves at me. It's like, why can't somebody pay me or give me a time frame? For fuck's sake. Like I said, it's just so criminal. And even like I said, even if nobody contacts me about the Bitcoin stuff, which is I have legitimate business expenses, I still sit here and say, okay, if this random fucking shit with this stock account, which I clearly didn't make money from a bona fide financial institution, somehow gets reported wrong, fuck me. Just fuck me. And I am the victim of crime. So actually, quite a lot of stories, more than I thought, but I just really wanted to give you an update on going to the bank, contacting the dispensary, and the further things with the thing, as well as documenting actual actual financial crimes. So moving on, it's probably a long one. We've got some good talking points to get through. And again, nothing more as documented every day of my life I want in the game. I would love to pay taxes. Love it. I would love to feel safe now before I can access social structures. Would love it. Tommy Fury beats Jake Paul after all rounds fought with a split decision. Fury, I think, is 8-9-0, and Paul is 6-1, I believe. Didn't watch the fight. Would have liked to. Can't afford anything. Like, $50 pay-per-view. Yeah, no sireno. I have to go pay $20 to have expedited shipping for some fraud I didn't do. So I can't. That's my discretionary fund for the month. But I would have liked to watch the fight. Obviously, a lot of hype, and I don't really follow combat sports, but I do like combat sports more so than I'd rather watch a fight than a football game, like an American football game. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing else really to say. South Carolina to charge $500 Yankee tax to move to the state. 500,000 people have moved to the state in the past 10 years. Will cover car registrations and licensures, and the rest used for infrastructure projects. I don't know. Charging people to come to your state and $500 is not going to be anywhere close to a make or break decision for moving. So it kind of seems like a little cash grab from the state of South Carolina, because no one's going to not move because of $500. 7 tornadoes in Oklahoma and 2 in Texas touched down overnight on February 26, 2023. So like I said, a lot of severe weather been going on. Tornadoes, a lot of tornadoes. I think it's one of the most active seasons going on. A lot of snow in some areas too. Still, it's very, very rainy today here in Ohio. Elon Musk, so we touched on the Dilbert cartoonist being really, really good person, but he says, my advice is for white people to get away from black people. It's kind of like reacting to a poll. I watched another episode of Flagrant with Charlemagne the God. Again, right? So don't you see how everyone, when you're reading the Hebrew tradition, and it's just people thinking through their own realization, and then Charlemagne calls himself the God? Oh, it's almost like it's true, because it is. We all have agency over ourselves. If your constitutional rights aren't violated, forced into slavery. But the point being is that there's more backing to it, where it's like, I think, this is hearsay from Charlemagne, but he was like saying that the Dilbert guy, the whole video was like saying that he originally identified as a black person, and then once he saw this poll about black people not tolerating white people, he called that racist, so then he re-identifies as a white person? So this is hearsay from Charlemagne, but it seems legit. He said he just watched it the morning before they recorded their episode. And so that just, again, an absolute goofy, but yeah, my advice for white people to get away from black people, that's hard to walk back from being racist. But then Elon Musk, who is the stupidest, fucking dumbest fuck ever. I made a whole video called Elon Musk is stupid, because he is. The media is racist. No, again, white and black is not meaningful distinctions, and then saying this fake distinction is a reason to get away from that distinction. And it's all self-hatred, but it's stupidity, and that stupidity is enough to be called racist. So, yeah, sorry, Dilbert creator, you're a fucking knucklehead retard. Energy Department, ? Says pandemic likely caused by Chinese lab leak. Then a different headline said, U.S. Intel has no definitive answer on origin. And so, why is it the Energy Department? Not the CDC, not the FDA, the Energy Department. That's why I had a question mark there. It's like, why? What the fuck? Well, there's just 2 headlines on the origin. Again, the origin doesn't really matter except for historical accuracy, unless it was malicious, which he'd be committing global suicide if he did that. So, but just point fingers and try to talk about stuff that doesn't really matter, because we have nothing to talk about and we're on a cable news station all day. Play games and come all day. Yeehaw! Oil is on track for its 14th month of declines. WT crude at $76 a barrel, Brent crude at $82.62 a barrel at 12 p.m. on February 27th, 2023. Just wanted to give you a quick update. I told you I thought the buying on the war would be a bad idea, simply because, again, sentiment gets blown out, 7% of investor maturity, war, the whole world's going to blow up, we're going to be fighting forever, which we shouldn't be fighting at all, but we have Vladimir shooting Volodymyr, so that's good stuff. But the point being is the extension of the sentiment of the doom and gloom of, the oil prices are going to go substantially higher, as opposed to, moderating. To me, I thought was a very convincing trade. Obviously, I can't trade properly because of cash flow, and then they just make up that you made money, and they just steal the pennies that you've been able to scrunch up as being a slave. They steal your commissary. But I just want to give an update that would have been a good trade, as to not to short or to buy a declining future contract on the oil on the peak of the war, or peak of the price at the beginning of the war. Oh, Jordan Peterson on number 335 with Christopher Rufo says, I've never met someone on the right who would refuse to speak to somebody. Jordan, I will pay you a lot of money to speak to you. Oh, hypocrites. See, everyone's just hypocrites. Everyone's just a hypocrite. Nobody feels responsibility for anything. They play games and come all day, and they defend themselves. And what scares them is me saying, hey, I'm a human being, please treat me like one, here's my rights, please allow me to collect my property, please allow me to be a lecturer, please allow me to be a university professor, please allow me to found my own university. Everybody's stealing it from me. It is what it is the general form of all logical structure. It is. See, it still is. You can't break it. Time frame, please, or my money, or my actual rights, or anything. But yeah, I've met everybody on the right that refuses to speak to me. Anybody that has a professional obligation to do something is refusing to speak to me in direct violation of multiple statutes. And just basic human decency. But Mom, Michelle Bose, if you're still watching, I hope you are, Treasury notes yielding 5%. 3 to 5% on a 2-year note. And so again, I'm not exactly sure when they say 5%, is that yearly or is that at the duration of the note? So because typically I see like the 2-year note higher than the 10-year, so it's not clear to me if it's just at the maturity of the note as to why the rates would be lower for longer terms. It'd be like longer invested, get more return. So I'm not exactly sure. But let's just say, I've never bought bonds, but let's just say I buy Michelle Bose. If you had $1 million and you bought a 2-year note that is 4 to 5%, that is, again, that if it's on a yearly basis, that's $40,000 to $50,000 a year, or if it's at the maturity of 2 years, and maybe you have $1.5 million or $2 million, and you simply bought bonds. And again, if it's yearly, then that's a no-brainer for me. But if you simply bought a 2-year note at 4% with $1.5 million to $2 million, not risk 20% in the market with George, then you would cover any cost you would need to loan to me as a secured loan against my alcohol company, guaranteed every dollar you give me, I give you 3, and 5% of my alcohol company guaranteeing at least $10 million in return. Seriously. I have all of this other fuckery shit going on, and it's not me. But you could just buy $1.5 million to $2 million, even if it's on the maturity of the note, and make $40,000 to $50,000. If it's yearly, you just need $1 million to cover $40,000. I get loaned $33,000 a year, and I'm actively trying to do everything I can to make money, and I just have fraud and extortion being presented to me left and right every day. But I would absolutely be investing in bonds again. Don't lose any principal, and then you get this interest rate. No brainer to me. No fucking brainer to me. I have Dallas, Texas Spectrum Sales Department written down. I was railing against them. Kind of this shit was going out or something. But the dude was like, "Sir, you realize this is the sales department at Spectrum?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't care. Everybody knows Brian Sullivan directly thinking about me. We're living in an anomaly. So I don't give me to somebody where everybody knows and do fucking something. Just do something. Give me a fucking job. I don't care." Give me a $40,000 job and relocation fees to Dallas, Texas, and I will pick up Spectrum service calls. Just fuck it. But I still don't have any idea how I would submit a resume, which we've documented, and have a hiring manager not get fucking offended. But yeah, so I covered that. Oh, here's a good one from Ohio. Nothing demonstrates hypocrisy like blurting out and projecting your stupidity. A company is hiring, a pizzeria in Ohio is hiring quote-unquote non-stupid people. Nothing says stupidity like using the empirical value function wrong, or using so many double negatives when you ask a question you have no idea what the fuck they just asked. So non-stupid people is not a word. So it's kind of sending mixed messages with that one. We don't want stupid people, and we're going to use a not word to describe that. Wowzers, that's pretty good. So shout out to Santino's Pizzeria in Columbus, Ohio. I was like, it's in Columbus. So shout out to Santino's Pizzeria in Columbus, Ohio. Use a made-up word to try to tell other people they're fucking stupid. And that's irony and projection at the height. Dave Grohl feeds 500 homeless people in LA affected by the storm. Paid for it himself and worked 16 hours. I wish I could eat food. And the Reddit's like, we should introduce him to the aliens when they come. It's like, yeah, that ship's already sailing, boys and girls. But regardless, it's just like, I just see people like, they can make a choice. They can make a choice to eat. They can make a choice to feed other people. I have so much financial stress, I never feel fucking comfortable, ever. Mom, I'm not sad, still not fucking sad, just need my money, or a time frame, or a certainty that I'm not gonna get harassed every 2 days. That would be nice. Athlete killed near Clark Atlantic University campus. Knew the attacker, shot after an argument. Again, with antagonism, obviously still murder, but I just don't think it was like a social public health concern as opposed to just mowing down people in a mass shooting. Again, I still don't consider mass shooting where it's like two to four fatalities. Mass shooting to me is just indiscriminate killing because you hate yourself, or you just want something to do today where you have no identity and you're a cranked off fucking primitive weirdo, as opposed to anything with antagonism, gang versus gang, husband versus wife. Even we'll get to the Murdoch trials. Yeah, that's the next talking point. But just any sort of like actual preliminary escalation or anything like that, and just someone said, "I'm just going to kill a bunch of people." To me, that's mass shooting. Even if they don't kill anybody, even if they're the fucking retards that like has the gun jam or like gets shot after shooting the first shot or something, and they killed nobody, I would still consider that a mass shooter, at least attempted one. They're pretty low on the ranking of who's leading the mass shootings. Would that be good? Should we rank them? Nah, probably. Who knows? Who cares? Just fucking make fun of all this shit. But the Alex Murdoch convicted trial, he was just sentenced to life, I believe. But he was convicted of killing wife and son, faces 30 to life on each murder count, faces many other financial crimes and charges. So he was sentenced to life. Again, not really past the actual, again, like the assertion of, why, 15 life sentences or 3 life sentences. So is it just state to state? Because I would certainly give him 2 life sentences for each of the murders. But I don't know. I don't know if that was what they did, or if the guy just read the headline on the CNN or Fox News. And I literally just go from Fox to CNN. The only time I don't get to Fox News sometimes is because it's literally lower down on the cable's listings. But I scroll through all of the news channels. I'm not even sure who owns CNBC. I think it's Comcast, but I'm not sure if CNBC even has like political leanings. It's just like financial news. So I get a lot of talking points from them, more so than even CNN or Fox News, because it's just like watching both. I don't really see them too biased. I just see them as both insecure and pathetic. And then if you're watching Fox, they'll be like laughing about the immigrant situation, or if you're on CNN, they'll be like laughing about trans kids. It's just like same level of immaturity, not knowing how to fucking behave. But in terms of sentencing, multiple life sentences, again, when people talk about heaven and hell, it's a state of human bliss. The favorite thing I had to say about the afterlife, which again is just awareness, the universe can't forget, but was the Ice Nine Kills lines, you'll never get out of the woods. And it just articulated in a really way where it's like I said, think of all the people you've affected, good or bad, in your life. That is going to be your universe forever, until you make right with all the wrong things you did. And so when it's like you get sentenced to like 30 life sentences, it's like you're gonna have to take responsibility for your actions at some point. You're never gonna get out of the woods. And so, but again, it's kind of like an empirical awareness of you actually have to take responsibility for actions, as multiple life sentences or sentencing people 300 years or whatever, where it's clearly going to extend past their biological lifespan. And so you will have to take responsibility for all your actions, good and bad. A hidden corridor has been discovered close to the main entrance of the 4,500-year-old Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt. Interesting. Again, I've never been to the pyramids. Having enough money to travel, yeah, fucking right. But out of all of the, again, I'm not a big traveler. There's buildings and people over there, and nature over there, and so really not a big traveler. I would do some traveling if I could do it comfortably financially. Again, like I couldn't sit in a commercial plane for hours. My back is too shitty, so it'd have to be private where I could lay down. God, my health care is denied so badly. I couldn't I just don't have basic societal functionality. But of all of like the monuments and places to go, I have heard from like basically everyone that goes there that the pyramids are extremely fucking impressive, and like pictures don't do it justice how big it is, stuff like that. So that would definitely be a place I would be interested in going. But I don't know. The interesting is a hidden corridor. I don't think they've like found anything, but they said they didn't have like move any stones. But that's cool. Anything with historical relevance. Going out and finding things. Again, I was a big metal detector dude. I would love to do metal detector again if I had a place to go, and again, could comfortably buy a $1,000 metal detector. And I'm just financially locked, financially fucking stagnated at everything. But if it costs money, the answer is that it's not even in my head to think about it. Like, I haven't been bowling for $12 recently because of all of this shit. I just need to feel financially safe, and the answer to that is no. So we had Belgium freezes Russian assets worth 58 billion euros. They also froze 191 billion euros in financial transactions. I think they lead NATO or Europe ? In frozen assets / transactions. Not sure. Again, I don't, off the top of the head, don't know the GDP or wealth reserves of Russia. I don't think anyone would fucking, again, in terms of like wealth reserves, Then you get into the question of value, which is always fickle, whatever was going to pay for it. And so, not to get into the economics of it, but will that have any impact on Russia? I seriously fucking doubt it. Seriously fucking doubt it. I just don't know. You'd have to, I don't know, snuff out 99% of the finances, or 80% or something. I just don't know. But my initial reaction, uneducated from this level of finance, geopolitics, would be it's not going to do much. Vladimir, stop it. No privyet. No da. More than half the world projected to be overweight or obese by 2035. Whopping 12 years out. And 1 or every 2 people will be fucking fat as fuck. Which I think it's already occurred. If you go to Walmart in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, you just could drive around Reynoldsburg, Blacklick. I'm pretty sure we've crossed the threshold. Pretty fucking sure. Don't have the exact date on it, but just a quick visual survey of the creatures around me. I'm gonna go and say we're gonna pass that. We're gonna do that before 2035. But why do people do that? And I've read a Reddit post where it's like someone's like in South America. They're like, it's like a feeling we've had it or we've made it. You know, we didn't have fast food before. Now we have fast food. Now we can afford it. Now we can eat as much as we want. So we just get fat. And that is what I want to hunker down to people. I cannot make a choice like that. I have never felt safe enough to eat food consistently and regularly in 11 years. And I have to regulate it with cannabis. Again, I love cannabis, absolutely would need to prescribe it as a medical professional. Need to. You guys are killing children. You guys don't care. You'll face consequences for your actions. But as a recreation, would totally love to do cannabis. Because there's no real differentiation between being happy and content as opposed to limiting anxiety or just saying, I just want to take some cannabis. And again, I don't have anxiety. I've never had anxiety. It is just constant financial stress. And this shit has been happening. I've been documenting it for 4 years. It was not better before I was documenting it. But it's just amazing. I cannot make a single fucking choice for myself. And people are so incompetent and pathetic. They're kings. They're gods now. What are they going to do? They're going to eat as much as they can because it makes them feel good because they're pathetic and they just want to have some self-worth. And when they feel full, they feel thick and good. What a weird world. But again, yeah, I really wanted to cover the update on the extortion going on. And please, just why can't somebody be a good person? It's completely fraudulent, the whole thing. But again, we can do whatever we want, and I've been documenting crime for years and years and years. And people, including my own parents' family, act like constitutional rights are like optional. And then they just blame me for everything. And like I said, when my parents' roof got put on the wrong way, my mom and dad were like, you know, they pushed us to a point we had to file a complaint with the Better Business Bureau. It's like, Mom and Dad, my constitutional rights are violated. Like, that is the fundamental reason as to why you can function in this society. But I would need one person to give a fuck or to help me. And the answer to that is no. So, thank you for watching another episode of Language, Litigation, and Integration, Part 186. Endless Incompetence, because it's fucking true. See you on the next one.